The lecture hall of Station Luminine was packed so tightly that even the air felt rented. Every tier of seats held bodies from a dozen worlds, some tall and plated, some soft and translucent. Some wrapped in climate shrouds that hummed quietly like sleeping machines. They had come for one reason: a human, not a soldier, not a diplomat, not a celebrity pilot, a scholar. Professor Elias Ward stood at the center platform under a white cone of light, hands resting on the edge of the lectern. His hair had gone silver early, not from age alone, but from years spent studying worlds that tried to kill everything that moved. He wore the plain dark coat of the Interstellar Academy, with no medals and no bright rank tags. That alone unsettled the audience. Most species decorated their experts, the way humans decorated their warships. Loudly, Ward did not. Behind him, the display wall showed a rotating sphere, a planet the color of rust and storm, a Deathworld. The translation drones drifted above the crowd like patient insects, listening, converting, whispering into hundreds of ears. Ward waited until the hall stopped murmuring. Then he spoke. "Everyone here thinks Deathworld survival is about toughness." A ripple went through the crowd. Some nodded. Some bristled. Ward lifted one hand, palm open. It is not. Toughness is a side effect. It is not the secret. The sphere behind him changed. It zoomed in, showing jagged mountains, black forests, and a sea that looked like bruised glass. A scaled listener in the front row raised a claw. "Professor Ward, humans call your home a Deathworld. Yet you live in cities and drink sweet liquids. Where is the hardship? Where is the death?" Ward looked at the listener with calm patience. "The hardship is not a monster in the trees. The hardship is the rule that nothing is safe, not even the ground." The hall quieted again. Ward touched a control. The display shifted to a list of numbers, then to graphs, then to a single phrase in large letters. Survival is not endurance. Survival is adaptation. Ward stepped away from the lectern. His shoes made soft sounds on the platform. When the first interstellar surveyors categorized Earth, they expected a place of predators. They found them. They expected violent weather. They found it. They expected toxins. They found those too. But none of that was the reason Earth earned the Deathworld rating. He paused, letting the translators keep up. The reason was instability. The word landed like a weight. Most habitable worlds, the environment is consistent. Seasons exist, but they are mild. Predators exist, but they fill a role. Diseases exist, but they rarely reshape the entire biosphere. The planet behaves like a machine built to run. He pointed at the sphere. Earth behaves like a living argument. A few nervous laughs scattered across the seats. Ward did not smile. The sky can kill you. The water can kill you. The food can kill you. The smallest organism can kill you. The temperature can kill you. The ground itself can kill you. Even the sun can kill you if you stand under it long enough without protection. A long silence followed. Some in the audience shifted. Uncomfortable? Ward leaned forward slightly. "Now comes the part you all came to hear. The dark secret." He let the phrase hang. The display behind him went blank, turning into a flat black wall. Ward's voice lowered. Not for drama, but because it was easier to hear the truth when it was not shouted. Humans did not survive Earth because they were the strongest. Lifted one finger. They survived because they were the most willing to admit fear. The crowd reacted instantly. Confusion, skepticism, a few clicks of amusement from Insectoid. Throat's Ward continued. "Fear is not weakness. Fear is data. Fear is a warning system refined by millions of years of almost dying." He walked slowly along the front edge of the stage, looking across faces and masks and ice stalks. Most species evolve on worlds where danger is occasional. Fear becomes rare. It becomes shameful. It becomes something to deny. Ward stopped. On a Deathworld, fear is constant. You either listen to it or you become a lesson. The hall held still. Ward tapped his wrist. The display returned, showing an ancient human drawing, a crude sketch of a figure holding a torch. Early humans were not apex predators. They were not the fastest. They were not the strongest. They did not have claws that could tear through armor or venom or shells. He let that settle. They had two advantages. One was endurance, yes. But endurance alone does not make you live. It only makes you die later. He raised another finger. The second advantage was cooperation. A new image appeared. A group of humans around a fire. Ward's tone sharpened. Humans learned something that most Deathworld creatures never learn. They learned that a lone survivor is a temporary thing. A group is a strategy. He faced the audience fully. This is where the secret becomes dark. The translators buzzed, trying to keep up with the subtle shift. Ward's eyes hardened. Humans do not just survive Deathworld conditions. Humans export Deathworld logic into everything they do. Murmur rose. Ward lifted a hand and the murmur faded. When humans build a shelter, they do not assume it will work. They assume it will fail. So they add redundancy. When humans plan a route, they do not assume the path will stay open. They assume the path will collapse. So they plan alternates. When humans treat an illness, they do not assume the first cure will hold. They monitor, adjust, and prepare for complications. He stepped back toward the lectern. Humans are not optimistic survivors. Humans are professional pessimists. The phrase drew more reactions. Some laughed again, but it was uneasy laughter now. Ward touched another control. The display showed footage from a human colony world, a neat settlement under a dome. Then, the dome cracked in a storm, then emergency doors. Sealed, then a second dome inflated, then people moved. Supplies, then a third dome was built. Ward pointed at the footage. This is not bravery. This is habit. He looked over the hall. Species from a garden world sees catastrophe and freezes. They expect the world to follow. Rules. Ward's voice grew sharper. Human sees catastrophe and starts making lists. The audience made small noises of confusion and discomfort. Ward leaned forward. Do you understand what that means for the galaxy? No one answered. Ward answered anyway. Means humans treat peace the way other species treat war. Hall fell into complete silence. Ward let it sit. To humans. Peace is not a stable condition. Peace is a temporary pause between problems. A listener in the second row, a tall avian creature with bright eyes, raised a feathered hand. Professor, are you saying humans cannot relax? Ward considered. Humans can relax, but only after they have checked the locks twice. A few quiet sounds of amusement drifted through the hall, but the tension remained. Ward turned and changed the display again. Now it showed a map of early interstellar contact routes. Human ships, marked in blue, had traveled faster and farther than predicted for a newly spacefaring species. Many of you remember the first years after humans entered the Galactic network. There were incidents, misunderstandings, conflicts that started over nothing. The display showed a list of brief notes. Docking disputes, supply fights, a border panic. Ward's voice stayed even. Humans were accused of aggression. Humans were accused of paranoia. Humans were accused of bringing violence. Where none existed, turned away from the display and looked at the crowd. His accusations were not entirely wrong. The hall stirred. Ward did not flinch. But you misunderstood the cause. He stepped forward again. Humans were not violent because they wanted war. Humans were violent because they assumed war was always possible. The words struck harder than the earlier jokes. Ward held his hands behind his back. A Deathworld species does not trust stillness. Stillness is when predators get close. He let that line sink in. Humans arrived in a galaxy that felt quiet. Too quiet. The silence did not feel safe. It felt like a trap. The hall remained silent. The kind of silence that meant thinking. Ward returned to the lectern, placing both hands on it again. So, what is the dark secret of Deathworld survival? He looked down briefly, then back up. It is this. Survival is not about winning fights. It is about refusing to believe the fight is over. Translation drones hummed softly. Ward continued. Humans do not stop preparing when they succeed. They prepare more. They do not stop learning when they win. They learn faster. They do not stop when they are tired. They rest only enough to keep going. Pressed another control. The display showed Earth's history in rapid images. Ice, fire, storms, migrations, wars, cities, medicine, machines, specklic. Ward spoke over it. Earth tried to kill humans 1,000 ways. Humans learned to respond the same way every time. He lifted a finger with each point. Observe, share information, adapt, build tools, protect the group. The images slowed. Landing on a simple scene, a human child in a storm shelter, holding a blanket. An adult beside them, calm but alert. Ward's voice softened. Humans call this resilience. Other species call it madness. The hall was so quiet now that the hum of the station's ventilation could be heard. Ward glanced at the audience. Now I will tell you something that is not in the official reports. Paused. The Interstellar Council asked the Academy to explain humans. They wanted a clean summary, a list of traits, a warning label.
Ward's mouth
tightened. They wanted to know if humans were safe. Audience leaned in. Ward looked at them. Carefully, the answer is complicated. It took a slow breath. Humans are safe when they feel seen. When they feel included. When they feel they belong to the group. He tapped the lectern on.